Hello. This is me trying not to say my word. Right. As you all know, we've had a lot of veg lately, donated to us at Foodshare, and we had a lot of Swede. So I was trying to find maybe different ways of using it other than using it as a mash, which is really nice, by the way. And I was going to do soup. And then I came across this recipe from, I think it's called the Great British Chefs. And it was for a Swede Massaman curry. And that's what we're going to have a go at making. If you've got Massaman curry paste in your cupboard, brilliant, use that. But we're going to attempt to make some with ingredients that we've got in the house. And there's a couple of things that we needed that we don't have. And I couldn't get because it's New Year's and all the good shops are shut. And like a lot of the supermarkets around here don't sell things like galangal and lemongrass. So we're just going to make do, right? For this curry paste then, in my processor here, I've got 6 shallots, 6 cloves of garlic, 8, so I've got them here, just if you need a visual reference, and it's always nice to see the colours, isn't it, anyway. I've got 8 dried red chillies. It called for a tablespoon, of sliced up lime leaves. Well, I put about 6 in. I just used 6, chopped them up, chucked them in. 4 bruised cardamoms, not bruised actually, in fact de-seeded. So to de-seed them, get the flat of your knife, squish it on, and they'll pop open and you can take the seeds out, and it's the seeds you want. It didn't ask for turmeric, sorry, but for me, Massaman curry needs turmeric in, because it's actually a really old fusion food, really. It's from the Persian traders from years and years back, and they took all their Indian spices, their South subcontinent spices, over to the Pacific, and they made this dish. So you've got stuff that you would get in a lot of Indian curries, and then you've got things that you'd get more Southeast Asian cooking. So it didn't ask for turmeric, but I've put it in. So I put a teaspoon of that in. If I think I need more, I'll chuck some more in, but I'm going to see how I go, because that's my addition. Tablespoon of salt. Sounds like a lot, but we're making enough here for 3 curries. It should come up to about 300 grams. Tablespoon of coriander seeds. It also asks for a teaspoon of clove powder. Well, I haven't got any clove powder, so I put 6 cloves in. We'll see how we get on with that. 1 star anise, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and a teaspoon of white peppercorns. It also asks for a tablespoon of galangal. Couldn't get it. So what I've done is I've substituted it with some ginger out of my freezer. So I just put like a centimetre of ginger, sliced it up, chucked it in there. See how we get on. They're from the same family, so is the turmeric. That is also the same family as ginger and galangal. So we'll just see what happens. It's not going to make it taste awful, I hope. And we haven't got lemongrass. It didn't call for lemongrass in this recipe, actually. I would have thought it was in there, but it did. It did say the juice of a whole lemon. So we've got lemon juice in there as well, and maybe that's like your lemongrass substitute. So, taking all those lovely inspirational flavours, we are now going to just blend this up and see what we get. If you need to put water in there while you're blending to make it into a nice paste, please do. It's not going to impair the flavour. It's just going to help it get all blended. I don't know, a different word. So we'll do this now and see what happens. Right, see what it's like. Smells amazing. That smells really good. So the proof will be in the pudding, and I'll let you know, obviously. If not, if it turns out really rubbish at the end, then we'll just have to go and buy some paste. Okay then, look at this beautiful colours. Cal was saying all that our food turns out to look the same colour. I'm sorry about that. Looks lovely before I blend it all. So, another thing that I feel was missing out of the Massaman curry paste is nutmeg. There wasn't any nutmeg in there. So I'm just going to put a little bit in what we're doing today. And again, I will let you know how this turns out. So I'm just going to put about 1/4 teaspoon really. Because I think if I was doing it in that, I would have probably put a whole teaspoon. So I'll stick 1/4 in and we'll see how we get on. Now the first thing we need to do, I've got my oil already in here. It's about 80 ml of oil, it said. So that's just under 4 tablespoons. So I've got that all on my pan. Ooh, come back. I just warm my hands. It's very cold in the studio today. Alright, so just going to heat my oil up and I'm going to get it to shimmering point, because the first thing that's going to go in here is our garlic, and we don't want that to burn, because burnt garlic doesn't really taste great, I don't think. It's not my favourite flavour. So we're going to just fry off our garlic first, and remember we've got a lot of shallots in here. The original recipe for this from the Great British Chefs called for button onions. Well, I don't have any, and I'm not going to just buy button onions for the sake of doing this curry. So I've used red onion quarters, okay, because they're a little bit sweeter than British brown onions. So we're going to have some nice little red onions, and I've done them in quarters, obviously, because they're a little bit too big to go in there in one go. And what I've done, I've left the root on, so it keeps it in a little wedge. It also called for 4 tablespoons of roasted peanuts, unsalted. Well, I only had cashew nuts, so what I've done is I've robbed some of Cal's natural peanut butter. So if you've got peanut butter in the house, use that. There's no point in just going out and buying raw peanuts for the sake of it. Use what we've got, right? So I've only used 2 tablespoons because I figure that 4 tablespoons of just whole peanuts is probably going to amount to 2 tablespoons of blended. But again, we can adjust it if we need to. Right, now turn that right down. Just get my spatula. There we go. Here we go for a sizzle. Right, like I say, I don't want that to burn, just want it to get nicely toasted. Yum. Get it all nice and aromatic, you know. Delicious. Now, our amazing curry paste. And we're just going to fry this off for about a minute, because ordinarily, like if we were doing Indian curry, we'd toast our spices in our oil, but this we just blended them raw. Now we're going to cook them to get all that flavour out. Right, to that then, they say we need to add half of our coconut milk. And it said, don't worry if it separates. Just get that all cooked in. So today I'm actually only using vegetables. Like I say, we got a lot of vegetables donated, and I was thinking of ways that we could like use them. We're all sick of roast now, I would imagine. So yeah, I thought it's nice and hearty for the winter, right? Who doesn't love a curry? But supposing you wanted to put meat in it, what sort of meat would you use? Well, if you've got some lamb hanging around, I think lamb would go really well, because I think you'd need something like quite robust. I'm not sure if chicken would go well, but I think lamb would. I don't know if turkey would. You could always have a go and let me know. Beef would go quite well with the other vegetables, the root vegetables that we've got there. But yeah, like I say, I'm not doing a meat one today. Just going to use the vegetables. So let's see how we get on. Now, once you've cooked that all off for a minute, you give it a good sniff. Oh, it does smell amazing, actually. It's really aromatic. You can smell like all the cardamon's in there. Oh, I just thought of another thing. Right, so I happen to have lots of spices because I just like using lots of different spices in my food. But you might not have lots of spices at home. Don't let that put you off. When I was helping out with WAC, a lovely lady there called Nancy, she devised a way of making a Massaman curry without, if you didn't have all the ingredients. And she used chili, turmeric for the yellow, obviously, and garam masala, because that's got all those lovely warm spices in. So you could do that, and I could try and find out from her what the ratios were, if anybody wants to do it that way using garam masala. But I would imagine for this, I don't know whether it'd be like half a teaspoon of chili and turmeric, and maybe 2 tablespoons of the garam masala, or you could maybe do 1 and some coriander, a teaspoon of coriander. But like I say, I can find out for you because it really worked well. So into this then, I'm just going to chuck my Swede. And we want to make sure that's all beautifully coated. Now, sometimes the Swede can take a while to cook, so we've put that in first. And we're going to give that a few minutes just on its own. And then, it didn't call for carrots and parsnips, but I've reduced the amount of Swede so that I could accommodate some of the other vegetables that we've got, right? So I'm going to chuck in these. I think that's 2 small parsnips there, and this was 1 rather large carrot. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, but I just thought it'd kind of be nice to use as many other vegetables that we've got going there as possible. So, and I think as well, having the colours always looks good. Carrots are really good for you as well. Parsnips add a bit of a sweetness. Right, that's had a couple of minutes in there. They're all nicely coated. And we're going to add our lemon juice and our fish sauce. Our sugar. If you don't want to put sugar in it, leave it out, because the carrots are sweet, the parsnips are sweet, you know. You can try it without, see how you go. So I'm just going to turn this up and bring this up to the boil. Now you'll notice I've put in all the vegetables except for the onions and the potatoes. So these go in maybe after about 10 minutes. Get these sort of halfway cooked first, and then you can put the others in, because we don't want our potatoes going to mash. And we don't want our onions going all really horrible and soggy. We want a little bit of texture left in them. So that's why we're going to put them in a bit later on. And because we've cut those up, they'll cook a lot quicker than, completely whole ones. and the milk, all the rest of the milk. Okay, so at this point then, we've got absolutely everything in there except for our peanuts, our potatoes, our onions. I'm going to put the stock in now, and we're just going to let this cook. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes, and now we've added our potatoes and the onions, and a little drop more water if you think you need it, because obviously after about 25 minutes you've lost some of that moisture. It's reduced down a bit, so I've just topped it up slightly just with some water because there's enough flavour going on in there. You can see it's all just submerged. If you feel you want more water, go for it. And we're just going to leave that for about 10 minutes now. In the meantime, we're going to get our rice ready, chop up our coriander. About 4 minutes before the end maybe, we're going to put our peanut butter in, or your roasted peanuts. Not salted though. You don't want salted because remember you've put fish sauce in, very salty. You've also put stock in. And like, I didn't make my own, I used stock cubes, so that's got salt in it as well. And there was salt in our curry paste that we made. So you don't really want salty nuts. See you in 10. Okay then, well, when your potatoes are nearly done, like I said, about 4 or 5 minutes from the end, we're going to chuck in, no, we're going to put it in really nicely, we're not going to throw it in. No throwing today. Putting in our peanuts. So like I said, if you've got peanuts at home, roast them up, use those. I'm using unsalted raw peanut butter because it is the same. And some coriander. And we're just going to let that finish off now. Now to serve, obviously, I say obviously, to serve I would use rice. But you might want it with chunky bread. Who knows? I don't know. But personally, I'd use rice. So I've got my little rice bowl there. Now, while that's just finishing off, if you do make your Massaman curry paste yourself, what you're going to do with the other 200 grams of it. Personally, I'm going to divide mine in half and I'm going to freeze it because it freezes really well. And next time I want a curry, I've got it there already. So that's what I suggest you do with it. But yeah, actually, apart from I felt there was a little bit too much fish sauce in it, everything else seems to be fine. Also, the nutmeg, I added a little bit of nutmeg. Other than that, I think it's seems to be an okay recipe. So I'm just going to let that do what it does. And we'll taste it. Okay, I can't wait to try this. It's going to be as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. All right, just got my rice. Move over to the side. Let's see. I'm so excited. You were going to get the soup. Now you've got curry. You should be excited too. Okay. Just give it another little stir. Make sure the peanuts all over it. We want it in every bite, don't we? Okay then, let's just go for it. Just get a little cloth. There we go. Okay. There it is. Right, let's see what this is like then. So, Massaman Swede curry. Here we go. Just cut a bit. Don't want to miss my mouth on camera, do I? That tasted good. It really tastes good. I can't get over how the Swede works in a curry. Please have a go. That is really nice. I think we found a winner. Come over to Foodshare then. So Wednesday we're up St John's in the Field. I believe Lucy's doing a kimchi workshop. That's another thing I found out when I was doing my research of things to do with Swede. You can actually make sauerkraut out of Swede, because similar family to the kohlrabi. So if you don't want to do cabbage, if you've done cabbage before, maybe you could ask Lucy if there's any Swedes left. Have a go with the Swede. Let me know how that goes, if anybody dares do it. We're also cooking up there. We're doing the regular weekly Foodshare meals, so we're going to be doing that, delivering from the Wednesday. Come up and have a nice little social morning and come and say hello to us and pick up a meal, because we will be cooking. Take care. See you next week. Bye.